Single dad opens his heart to a crying girl, unexpectedly reveals she's a millionaire's daughter. The sun dipped low over Maplewood, bathing the park in warm, golden hues as laughter filled the air. Sam, a widowed father, wiped the sweat from his brow while fixing his old pickup truck. Each wrench turn echoed the pulse of his heart, a rhythm of love, loss, and resilience. Dedicating every moment to his spirited daughter Mia, he poured his soul into their little family, taking solace in simple moments like evening walks with ice cream. But a faint sob broke through the cheer, tugging at Sam's heart, causing him to pause. He abandoned his tools, curiosity pulling him away. There, on a bench, sat a small girl. Her tear-streaked cheeks told a tale of sorrow that mirrored his own. Without hesitation, he knelt beside her, his voice gentle as he asked what was wrong. Emily looked up, the sadness in her eyes unguarded and raw, instantly causing Sam's chest to tighten with a familiar ache. "My dad, I don't know how to make him happy," she whispered, her voice trembling. Sam felt a wave of compassion flood over him. He opened his heart, sharing his own struggles as a father without a partner. "Life is tough sometimes," he said softly, "but we get through it together. It's like a mechanic fixing a broken engine. You gotta keep tinkering until it runs right." Emily listened, captivated by the warmth of his words. Her expression began to brighten, the weight of despair lifting ever so slightly. They shared stories, laughter blooming between them, transcending the invisible barriers built by their backgrounds. Each chuckle brought Sam closer to forgetting the bills piling up at home, the quiet nights filled with memories of his late wife. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As they walked toward Emily's home, the sparkle of their newfound bond dimmed, shadows of realities creeping in. She lived in a luxurious neighborhood, a world apart from Sam's quaint existence. When they reached her grand house, her father appeared like a looming specter, a hardened billionaire whose worldview was grounded in wealth. With a dismissive wave, he glared at Sam, decrying him as unworthy of his daughter's company. "Why are you talking to her?" he barked, turning to Emily with disdain. Sam's heart sank, the pride of a father clashing with the cold reality of class differences. Suddenly, he was offered a job, money that could ease his worries, but at the price of severing ties with Emily. Torn, he felt the suffocating grip of financial insecurity pulling him toward a decision that weighed heavily on his heart. Days became weeks as tension thickened. Emily defied her father, standing tall against the storm of privilege and prejudice. The fire within Sam ignited, brightening their friendship amidst the clash of worlds around them. He admired her bravery, but felt the bitter taste of fear. Their bond was strong, yet it danced on the edge of losing everything they valued. As whispers of their struggle spread through the community, Sam pondered. Could the strength of their friendship truly bridge the chasm between their lives? Just then, a flicker of courage shimmered in Emily's eyes as she prepared to fight for their friendship against all odds. The battle of hearts had just begun, and Sam realized it might be more about integrity, love, and coming together than mere survival. How far would they go? Would love triumph amidst the turmoil? Only time could reveal the intricate threads of their intertwined fates. Sam sat on the porch steps of his modest home late that night, the crickets singing a mournful tune in the background. Shadows of uncertainty clung to him like a fog, each breath reminding him of the tightrope he walked. He had made a promise to himself to tread carefully when it came to Emily, yet here they were caught in a struggle neither of them could ignore. Emily's laughter echoed in his thoughts, mixing sweetly with the images of her father's glare. How was it possible that such laughter could arise from such sorrow? As he recalled her mysterious world, he couldn't shake the idea that perhaps, just maybe, her small act of defiance could redefine everything. What if they could break free from the chains of expectation that bound them? The next day dawned bright and beautiful, a stark contrast to the heaviness that lurked within him. Sam resolved to take a chance, to stand up not just for Emily, but for the bond they had forged amidst adversity. They met at their usual spot in the park, warm sunlight filtering through the branches as if to bless their friendship. "Hey, I brought ice cream," he said, playfully scooping it from Mia's little pink cooler. Emily's eyes lit up, the corners of her mouth lifting with joy. They sat on a bench, the people in the park bustling around them, but in that moment, nothing else mattered. "Thanks, Sam. This makes everything feel better," she said, her voice soft yet steady. He raised an eyebrow, sensing a shift in her demeanor. "It wasn't only the ice cream. You're incredibly brave, you know that?" he replied, remembering her determination to stand up to her father. Not everyone would risk so much for friendship. Emily shrugged, her smile fading for a moment. "Sometimes it feels like my dad doesn't see me at all, just his expectations," she admitted, her gaze losing focus. Sam felt a pang. He had faced his own share of undying expectations, the pressure to be a father, a provider, and a lone man carrying the weight of memories. "But you're not alone," he murmured, reaching out to touch her hand, his heart warming as he felt her trust. "I'm here. We're in this together." An unexpected comfort flared between them, a connection that bridged the chasm of their differences. Just then, he remembered the job offer that loomed over him, casting a long shadow. Could taking it truly mean losing Emily? Fear sparked and threatened to tear at him, but he couldn't allow it. Their bond ignited a fierce desire to protect what they had. If sensing his turmoil, Emily tilted her head. "Do you think our friendship is just a dream?" "No," he replied firmly, "it's real. But we'll need to fight for it." He noticed a flicker of hope shimmer in her eyes, and it warmed his heart. "Let us plan something. Just you and me." "No one else," she suggested, determination replacing hesitation in her voice. "Absolutely," Sam replied, a thrill rushing through him. The idea of stepping outside their situations and creating their own world felt invigorating. Was it possible they could truly make this work? The days passed, filled with secrets, laughter, and ice cream. Their meetings blossomed into small adventures. But just as Sam began to consider a newfound happiness, whispers grew louder. Rumors of Emily's father tightening the reins on his daughter intensified. Tensions flared at home, the reality creeping back like a storm cloud. Just as Sam readied himself to confront his fears, a sudden phone call shattered the fragile peace. It was Emily, breathless and panicked. "Sam, I need you. It's my dad." Panic surged through him. Was this the moment they had been dreading? Would the threads they had woven unravel before him in an instant? He felt the darkness loom, but he wouldn't back down. He grabbed his truck keys, determination lacing each step as he raced toward the uncertain future, ready to face whatever came next. What had she uncovered? And would Sam be able to stand strong in the face of the storm? Only one thing was for certain. Their fight for friendship was only just beginning. Sam sped down the bumpy road, the engine of his truck roaring in tune with his racing heart. The call from Emily echoed in his mind, a desperate plea that elevated his anxiety to new heights. Had her father found out about their secret meetings? The thought gripped him tight, but he forced himself to breathe. Focusing on reaching her quickly, he pulled up to her house. The large, brick facade loomed ominously against the brightening skies. The tension enveloping him made the air feel thick and electric. He could see shadows moving inside, and it was clear that Emily's father was home. That realization didn't just ignite panic. It sparked a fire in him. He wasn't about to let anyone come between them. Sam jumped out of the truck, leaving the door ajar as he raced up the path to the front door. Hesitation whispered in his mind, but he refused to let fear stop him. Rapping his knuckles against the heavy wood, he didn't wait long for a response. The door swung open, and there stood Mr. Parker, eyebrow quirked, a mix of confusion and irritation crossing his features. "Sam, what are you doing here?" His voice was gruff, as imposing as his stature. "Is Emily okay?" Sam's voice came out steadier than he felt, but he remained unwavering in his stance. "She called me, and she sounded scared." Mr. Parker's expression shifted slightly, irritation mixing with something like concern. "She's fine. Just dealing with some things." "Can I see her?" Sam pressed, not willing to back down. He had come too far to give up. Emily needed him, and he wasn't about to walk away to Mr. Parker hesitated, glancing back into the house, and that moment felt like an eternity. Something in Sam clenched tighter, an instinct urging him to push harder. Please, sir. If she feels she can't talk to you, then I need to be there for her. After what seemed to be an internal battle, Mr. Parker stepped aside, allowing Sam to enter. The living room was spacious but cold, filled with expensive furniture that seemed to mock their struggles. Emily, he called out with urgency. No response came, just the echo of his own voice. Sam. Her voice shot through the house, punctuated by the sound of footsteps rushing down the staircase. Emily appeared, eyes wide with fear and relief. Thank God you're here, she said breathlessly, her cheeks tear-stained. Sam moved forward, pulling her into a hug, relief flooding through him. What happened? I was so worried. She pulled back, glancing at her father. It's my dad. He found out about our plans. He is not okay with it, Sam. He wants to keep me away from you. Why? Sam's question hung in the air, heavy and thick. The answer loomed before him, dimming the warm connection they shared just moments before. Because he thinks you're just a distraction. She took a deep breath. He doesn't understand. Just then, Mr. Parker interjected, his voice low but firm. You have no idea what's best for you, Emily. A spark flared behind Sam's eyes. No, sir. But she does. And you can't dictate her life. The room fell into silence. Sam felt the weight of both their gazes on him. Emily's pleading and her father's steely. Uncertainty crawled back up Sam's spine, but he held his ground, refusing to back down again. What if we could prove it? Emily's voice broke through the tension, full of a new resolve. What if we showed him our friendship is real and it matters? Prove it? Mr. Parker scoffed, but the doubt in his expression was telling. He hadn't written them off yet. I will, Sam declared, his heart pounding with possibility. What if I take you out tomorrow? Just you and me. And I'll have everything sorted out so you don't have to worry about your dad. Emily looked at him, hope igniting in her eyes, while her father remained cautiously skeptical. What do you think? Sam asked her softly, feeling the thrill of a plan take root. I think it's a start, she whispered back, a small smile breaking through her tears. Tomorrow would be their defining moment, one that would either break the chains that bound them or strengthen their resolve. But there was also the question of what Mr. Parker would do. Could they really stand together against the tides of expectation? And just how deep did the differences between them run? Emily's future hung in the balance, and Sam knew that nothing they faced would be easy. But the fight was on, and they were ready to meet it together. The sun broke over the horizon, casting warm hues that felt surreal against the weight of the night's emotions. Sam paced in his small bedroom, the walls plastered with posters of bands he loved and photos of friends. Yet today it felt more confining than comforting. The promise he had made to Emily echoed in his mind, swirling with excitement and fear. After a restless night full of tossing and turning, he picked up his phone. Seeing Emily's name flash brightly on the screen sent a rush of warmth through him. Today was the day they would confront her father. There was no backing down. As he got dressed, every movement felt monumental. He slipped into his favorite hoodie, the one Emily said brought out the blue in his eyes, and ran a hand through his unruly hair. He needed to look confident, even if inside he was a jumbled mess of nerves. The plan was simple yet terrifying. Sam would meet Emily at the small park where they spent countless afternoons. They'd go on a picnic, just the two of them. He would show her father they were serious, not just kids lost in a fantasy. Arriving at the park, he spotted Emily sitting on their favorite bench, looking hesitant yet hopeful. She wore a bright sundress that fluttered in the gentle breeze, and her hair fell perfectly around her shoulders. It took him a moment to gather his words. Hey, he said, his voice a bit more raspy than he intended. She looked up, her face lighting up. Hi, I was wondering if you'd come. Of course I would. He joined her on the bench, heart racing. You ready for this? She took a deep breath, her fingers entwining with his. I have to be. There's no going back now. The two of them talked about nothing and everything, smiling, laughing, trying to keep the heavy stuff at bay. But as the sun climbed higher, the shadows of uncertainty crept back in. Ready? Sam finally asked, each word laced with a mix of determination and fear. They stood together, hand in hand, hearts thumping in sync, as they approached Emily's house. The familiar brick facade looked daunting, a fortress that held their future in its grasp. Mr. Parker answered the door with an air of authority that made Sam's stomach drop. Arching an eyebrow, he assessed the situation in front of him. Emily's grip tightened. "Mr. Parker," Sam began, his voice steeled. "We need to talk." The tension in the air was thick, a high-wire act performed without a safety net. As Sam stepped into the living room, he could feel the weight of expectations bearing down on them. "I'm not here to argue," he continued, drawing courage from Emily's presence beside him. "But I believe Emily and I share something special. It's real, and I want to show you that." Mr. Parker folded his arms, a skeptical look masking any curiosity. "And what do you expect me to believe? That you want to just lead her down a path of distraction?" "Dad, please," Emily broke in, her voice trembling yet strong. "I want him in my life. It matters to me. You can't just dictate who I get to be with. You don't understand what I feel for Sam." The moment hung painfully in the air. For an instant, something flickered in Mr. Parker's eyes, a hesitant acknowledgement of his daughter's passion. Then, just as quickly, it was shielded with guarded resolve. "Is this just a teenage crush?" he pressed, trying to undermine the foundation they had built. "No," Sam protested, fire igniting within him. "It's not like that. We've been through so much together, and I would never let her down." Emily stepped closer to Sam, unwavering. He could sense her determination blooming alongside his own. "Dad, please, just give us a chance. All I ask is that you trust me." While Sam's heart raced, an unexpected silence enveloped the room, a moment where everything could change. Mr. Parker looked back and forth between them, torn between protecting his daughter and allowing her the freedom she was asking for. Finally, the air thickened with unspoken words, and Sam knew this was just the beginning of an uphill battle. Would Mr. Parker truly listen? As they awaited an answer, the tension simmered, promising that the real fight had only just begun. What would it take for them to break through the barriers? With everything hanging by a thread, they could feel the stakes rising. The silence stretched on, taut and heavy, as Mr. Parker weighed their words. Sam's heart raced. It felt like an eternity waiting for him to respond. Emily's fingers were clammy in his own, yet he could feel the fire in her gaze. She believed, and he needed to match her faith. Mr. Parker took a breath, his skepticism cracking slightly. "You two think you're in love? That it'll survive when the reality of life hits?" His voice softened, perhaps a sliver of understanding peeking through. "Yes," Emily replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "I know we're young, but what we have is real. It's not just a fling." Her eyes glistened, pleading. "I need you to at least try to see it from my side." Sam swallowed hard. There was no backing down now. "Mr. Parker, I know you care about Emily. You only want what's best for her. But I promise I won't let her down. I'd do anything for her happiness." The older man's brow furrowed as he looked at Sam. Sam held his gaze steady. He had seen the fear and the caution that came from being a parent, especially after losing someone important, which Sam could only assume Mr. Parker had experienced. "Trust me," Sam continued, each word carefully chosen. "I know the weight of this promise. I'll protect her. I'll be there." Mr. Parker's defenses seemed to soften just a fraction, and Sam could sense a shift in the air. A flicker of hope ignited in Sam's chest. His stomach twisted into hopeful knots. "And what if you get distracted?" Mr. Parker countered, crossing his arms once more. "Kids these days have distractions everywhere, and she's too important to be your experiment." Emily squeezed Sam's hand tighter. "There are always distractions, Dad. But what I feel for Sam isn't one of them. It's real, and I choose him, regardless of what anyone thinks." The silence deepened again, thick with unspoken emotions. Was this the moment they had been daring to dream about? Sam could hear his heart pounding in his ears, the anticipation nearly drowning him. Finally, Mr. Parker sighed deeply, the toll of the discussion weighing heavily on him. "Look, I can't just give you my blessing without knowing you. What are your intentions with my daughter?" Sam took a step forward, feeling every ounce of courage swelling inside him. "If you'll give me a chance, I'd like to spend time with her, get to know you all better. I want to prove that I'm a good influence on Emily, that we can still be ourselves while supporting each other's dreams." Emily's expression brightened, hope sparking in her eyes. "Please, Dad, just let us show you. I know there's more to Sam than you can see right now." "Fine," Mr. Parker said, the words heavy yet offering a glimmer of concession. "But I want to sugarcoat this. You two will have to follow my rules, and you will do nothing to jeopardize your futures." Sam felt a mixture of relief and uncertainty wash over him. "Thank you," he said earnestly. Emily let out a soft, relieved sigh, her smile illuminating the room like sunshine breaking through clouds. But just then, Mr. Parker's expression shifted to something more contemplative. "And remember," he warned, "dating my daughter comes with responsibilities you may not expect." Sam nodded, feeling the weight of the commitment looming just over the horizon. As Emily turned to him, her eyes glimmering with a mix of joy and nervousness, he couldn't help but wonder what burdens each responsibility would entail. How long would it take before the realities of their world collided with their hopes? With hope and fear entwined, they stepped out together into the day, the air buzzing with possibilities. But as they walked away from the confrontation, questions lingered: could love truly conquer all, or would challenges threaten their bond before they even began? And deep down, Sam knew the real battle was just beginning. However, he couldn't shake the feeling something unexpected lay ahead, like a storm brewing on the horizon. What was it that Mr. Parker hadn't revealed? The sunlight felt different as Sam and Emily stepped outside, the bright rays casting warm shadows on their anxious faces. The weight of the conversation still hung around them, but now it was mixed with a strange sense of possibility. "I can't believe he actually agreed," Emily breathed, her smile tentative yet genuine. "Yeah, but it's only the beginning," Sam replied, running a hand through his hair. The thrill of her excitement surged through him, but the weight of her father's words echoed louder. Responsibilities. Expectations. He could hardly wrap his mind around it all. They wandered down the street, lost in the excitement that danced between them. With every step, Emily chattered about ideas for their first adventure together, each suggestion bright and alive. "And we can go to that new cafe downtown. I heard they have the best hot chocolate," she exclaimed, her energy infectious. "Sounds great," Sam said, but his mind was elsewhere. He took a quick glance at her. How was he supposed to be the man Mr. Parker wanted? Did he even know how to be that person? Just as he opened his mouth to express his concerns, his phone buzzed in his pocket, jolting him. "Who is it?" Emily peered at him curiously. Just a text from Jake," he said, dismissively. But it wasn't just Jake. It was a group message about a party this weekend, the kind where people had fun and completely forgot about responsibilities. The smile faded from Emily's face. "You're thinking about going, aren't you?" "Emily." He hesitated, caught off guard by her sudden seriousness. She deserved someone who wouldn't be distracted. The party was a loud distraction where he could easily forget about the things weighing on him. "Hey," she said softly, squeezing his hand again. "I want to be part of your life, all of it. But I need to know that you want the same." Her honesty struck a chord. He stopped walking, turned to face her fully, and realized that the stakes were too high to play the guessing game. "I do. I want you to be part of everything." The truth hung in the air, raw and real. A hesitant smile returned to her lips. "Then let us make sure we don't lose sight of us. No distractions." Just as their moment of connection solidified, a distant voice broke through. "Emily, wait up." A girl raced towards them, her face flushed and eyes wide. "What the?" Sam blinked in surprise. It was Mia, Emily's best friend, and she looked frantic. "Is everything okay?" Emily asked, her brow furrowing in concern. Mia stopped, taking a breath to steady herself. "It's about your dad. I just overheard something, and you should know." Her voice dropped to a whisper, eyes darting around as if to confirm they were really alone. "What is it?" Sam asked, sensing the urgency in her tone. "Your dad is meeting with someone important. Like, really important. I think there might be a huge decision about your future brewing. One you want like." Emily's face paled. "What do you mean?" Mia looked between them, hesitant. "I don't have all the details, but it sounds like your dad might be considering moving for work or something else. He doesn't want to tell you until it's finalized." For a moment, time stood still. The promise they'd just made felt precarious now, balanced on the brink of upheaval. Sam's breath hitched in his throat, his heart racing. They had barely begun to explore what they could be together, and now it seemed their world was about to shift dramatically. A sardonic chuckle bubbled up from inside him. "A new job? Or something else?" he muttered, feeling the weight of uncertainty crush him. Sam knew they needed to process this together. But how? And what else would it mean for their fledgling relationship? The air crackled with tension, setting them on the brink of something unexpected. Could love really survive the storm that was gathering? As if the universe was testing their resolve, an echo of doubt snaked through his chest. He couldn't help but wonder what awaited them just around the corner. Sam blinked in the brightness of the day, but the heat of the moment was suffocating. The exhilaration from moments ago faded, replaced by a storm swirling in his mind. Emily stood beside him, her spirit fizzling like a soda left open too long. What do we do? Emily's voice was barely above a whisper, already reflecting uncertainty. Sam could tell she was battling her own wave of emotions, trying to process what Mia had just revealed. He raked his fingers through his hair again, a familiar gesture of frustration, before deciding to take charge. Let us go back to your place. We can talk more there. I think we need to figure this out together. Emily nodded, though her eyes lingered on the ground, absent of the bright spark they had shared moments before. They began walking, the distance to her home now feeling like a stretch of endless road. Do you think he really would move? She finally asked, vulnerability crackling in the air between them. I mean, this is home. What could possibly be so important that he'd want to uproot everything? It's hard to tell, he said softly, trying to put his own worries aside for her sake. But it sounds serious. Maybe he thinks it's for the best? Sam tried to sound hopeful, but he felt the weight of for the best hanging over them like a dark cloud. They arrived at Emily's house, and she pushed the door open with a shaky breath. Inside, the familiar warmth of her living room contrasted sharply with their hot, anxious skin. Emily sank into the couch, arms crossed tightly across her chest. Sam, I don't want to lose what we just built. It feels so fragile now. Tears glistened in her eyes. Everything was just starting to look up. His heart pounded at the sight of her distress. He wanted to wrap her up in comfort, in reassurance. We've only just started figuring things out. No matter what happens with your dad, I'm still here. We'll tackle it together. And what if that's not enough? Her voice broke, and he could see the walls she had built pushing against her. What if things change, and you don't want to stay with me? Emily, he said firmly, kneeling in front of her. I don't know what's coming or how it'll all play out, but I am not going anywhere. I care about you too much. I want to be here for whatever you need. For a moment, they locked eyes, questions swirling unspoken. Sam could feel the pulse of fear beneath her surface just as much as he could feel the thumping of his own heart, encased in uncertainty. Can you promise me that? She asked, her voice trembling. I promise, he said, his voice steady, hoping it would anchor her. We'll find a way through this. Together. But even as he said it, doubt nagged at the edge of his mind. What if it wasn't enough? What if all these promises unraveled in the winds of change? Suddenly, Emily's phone buzzed on the coffee table, pulling them from the impending heaviness blanketing the room. She reached for it, glancing at the screen. Her expression shifted abruptly, eyebrows shooting up in surprise. What is it? Sam asked. It's my dad, Emily replied, apprehension creeping back into her voice. She hesitated before pressing a finger to the screen, eyes narrowing as she read the message. Contained within the blinking pixels was something urgent, something that could shift everything they had just fought to understand. What does it say? Sam urged, anxiety pulsing through him. I think I need to talk to him. Her voice quavered, as she stood up to get her things. He felt their connection vibrating with uncertainty. Would this conversation bring the answers they needed, or slice their world further apart? With a quick glance back at her phone, Emily bit her lip. Sam, I need to know what I should say. What if he drops more bombshells on me? She turned, vulnerability spilling out of her. Tell him how you feel. You deserve to know the truth, whatever it is, Sam replied, his voice low and soothing. But as she nodded and stepped off toward the door, Sam couldn't shake the feeling that this moment could change everything for them, or push them to their breaking point. What awaited them on the other side of that conversation? As Emily took a deep breath and opened the door, uncertainty loomed large in the frame. Would they be ready for whatever came next? As Emily stepped through the door, Sam felt a cold wave of anxiety crash over him. He stood, frozen for a moment, before following her out into the sunlight. The vibrant day around them felt almost mocking compared to the heaviness he sensed in both of them. Are you sure you want to do this now? He called after her, the question escaping before he could rein it in. It didn't sound like an accusation, more a plea for her to reconsider. She glanced back, determination flaring for a split second before the shadows returned to her face. It has to be now, Sam. I can't keep wondering what he wants. The exchange between them hung thick in the air, unspoken fears lingering like an echo. He wished he could reassure her, but the gnawing worry gripped him tighter than he expected. Emily led the way to her father's office, a small space, transformed over the years into a chaotic extension of his mind. Books were stacked precariously on every surface, and framed photos hung at odd angles, capturing fleeting moments of their family together. The reminders of better times tugged at Emily as she stepped inside. "Dad," she called hesitantly, nerves buzzing through her voice. Sam stood back, giving her the space she needed, but his own heart raced in sync with hers. Her dad appeared from a back room, his face a mask of surprise that quickly morphed into concern. What is going on?" His voice was deep, but there was a tremor of apprehension. She hesitated, looking over her shoulder at Sam, who offered her an encouraging nod. "I got your message," she replied, her voice steadier now. "What did you want to talk about?" Her father shifted uncomfortably, running a hand over his disheveled hair. "It's about everything that's happening and decisions I need to make." "I know it's been hard for you." Sam watched as the tension filled the room. Instinctively, he took a step closer, the instinct to shield Emily rising within him. But he knew this wasn't a moment for him to intervene. Emily had to fight this battle on her own. "I need you to be honest with me," Emily pressed, her voice powerful but shaky. "Is it about moving? Is that what this is really about?" He sighed, shoulders drooping. "I have a chance to take a new job, a big one. But it means relocating. I want what's best for you, Emily." "Best for me?" she echoed, hurt spilling into her tone. "Or best for you? This is my home. Why can't you see that?" Her voice cracked, and at that moment, Sam felt her pain pulsating through the air. He wished he could pull her back from this emotional precipice. Instead, he remained rooted to the spot, a silent bystander to a storm that was threatening to uproot everything they held dear. Please let me explain," her father began, but Emily's eyes flared with defiance. "If you think moving is what's best for me, then you don't know me at all," she shouted, tears welling up. "I've finally found someone good in my life, and I can't lose that." Her words hung heavy, echoing in the small office like a dark cloud. Sam's heart broke for her. He saw it in the way she clutched her arms as if to shield her heart from further hurt. She was trembling, fighting against that overwhelming fear of abandonment. Suddenly, amidst the tension, her father sighed deeply. "I understand, Emily. It's just, I thought being away would give us both a fresh start." "What does a fresh start mean if it means leaving everything behind?" Emily's voice cracked again, desperation creeping in. Just when he thought it couldn't get more intense, her dad's face softened. "I never wanted to hurt you. I just wanted to protect you." He paused, taking a deep breath. "You deserve to know the whole truth, and maybe it's time I told you everything." Sam held his breath, tension coiling in him tighter. What more could there be? What truths lay beneath the surface of their family struggles? As Emily stared at her dad, fear and hope flickering in her eyes, Sam's pulse raced. What revelation was about to shatter the very fabric of their world? Would it bring them closer together, or would it tear them apart? Forever? Emily's heart raced as her father's eyes glistened with unshed tears. For what felt like an eternity, silence wrapped around them, thickening with every passing second. She clenched her fists, battling the torrent of emotions swirling inside her. The hope of understanding danced just out of reach. "Dad, what do you mean by the whole truth?" she finally asked, her voice barely more than a whisper. He ran a shaky hand along the edge of his desk, as if the warn might help him find his words. "I've kept things from you. Things about your mother, about our family. I thought it was for the best, but maybe that was the wrong decision." Shock rolled through Emily. "My mother?" The name felt heavy, both alluring and painful. They never talked about her much. Her father took a deep breath, the weight of years spilling from his shoulders. "When we were together, we had dreams, big dreams. Dreams that included you. But life didn't turn out the way we planned. Your mother was never just a waitress, you know. She came from money. A lot of it." Emily felt her world tilt, as if she was standing on the edge of a cliff, looking down into the abyss. "What are you saying?" she asked, struggling to comprehend the layers of her father's revelation. "Your mother left it all behind to raise you. She wanted a different life, and that meant making sacrifices." His voice broke slightly. "But I twisted that decision, made it feel like a burden instead of a choice. Beneath the shock, threads of anger started to weave through Emily's heart. You let me believe she didn't care, that I wasn't important enough for her to stay? Tears streamed down her face, and she wiped them angrily away. I thought it would protect you from the truth. Protect us both. His eyes were pleading, filled with regret. But all it did was create a wall between us. Sam watched, unable to look away. He felt the heaviness grow in the room, suffocating and raw. He longed to reach out, to comfort Emily, but this was her moment. This was her battle, and he wouldn't intrude. Why now? Emily demanded, her voice rising. After all this time, why tell me now? Her chest heaved with a mix of anger and anguish. Because you deserve to know who you are. Not just a daughter, but everything that comes with it. And there's more, Em. He stepped towards her, urgency driving his words. You have a chance, a choice. Choice about what? What am I supposed to do with this? She trembled, her emotions crashing like waves. It doesn't change anything. Maybe it does. He paused, letting the silence linger. You have options. We could go back to the city, dive into that world if you want. There's support. There are people know. She shouted. I don't want any of that. I just want my dad back. I thought I knew my family, and now it feels like I don't know anything at all. The air thickened with unsaid words, enveloping them in a desperate silence. Each person stood on the precipice of a revelation, and the tension was palpable. Sam's heart raced. What else was hidden? What was this life Emily could find so easy to reject? Her father's expression twisted with pain. I know I've failed, but I can help you see it. You've got family. A family you never knew existed, he whispered, hope flickering within his eyes. Emily looked away, fighting against the storm brewing inside her, a mixture of longing, fear, and a deep sense of betrayal. As the seconds stretched on, Sam couldn't help but wonder how far this conversation would go, and what decision Emily would ultimately make. Would she embrace this new reflection of her identity, or would the weight of her father's admissions shatter their fragile bond once and for all? The room was thick with emotion, and the air felt electric. What do you think you'll do next? He thought, wishing he had the courage to ask her through the silence that surrounded them all. Each heartbeat echoed as they stood there, waiting on the edge of discovery. What lay beyond this moment, fear or acceptance? With only the barest thread of hope connecting them, would they choose to fight for their family? Or would the rift between them only deepen as secrets emerged? The echoes of silence bounced off the walls as Emily stared blankly at her father, the truth hanging starkly between them. Sam noticed her trembling hands and moved closer, an instinctive urge to bridge the emotional chasm that had widened ever so slightly from the revelations of a mother she barely knew to the weight of her father's burdens. The fury within Emily simmered, a conflict brewing beneath the surface that could explode at any moment. You didn't just take my mother away. You took my understanding of who I am, she finally said, her voice steadying, each word slicing through the heavy air. If she chose me and chose to leave it all behind, shouldn't I get to know the whole story? Why did you hide that truth from me? Hide her. The hurt dripped from her words like a slow, painful leak. Sam's heart ached for her. How heavy it must feel to carry those truths, to realize that love was wrapped in deception. Yet, somewhere amid this tumult, Sam sensed strength bubbling within her. Trust, once shattered, could begin to mend as she found her footing again. Mr. Parker appeared close to breaking, palms pressed into the desk, shoulders slumping in the weight of realization. I thought keeping that from you would protect you, he said softly, but it only served to isolate us. I didn't want you to feel any pressure, to think you had to carry the weight of her legacy. I wanted you to grow up with a clean slate. Emily shook her head, tears glimmering, but a fierce resolve glinted in her eyes too. But by hiding her legacy, you made me feel like I was never enough, like she abandoned me. You think that was protecting me? It just made me feel alone. The room felt like a battlefield, where the truth and fear collided, echoing with every exchange. Sam reached out, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. It was time for Emily to reclaim her narrative. You deserve to know who you are, he urged her gently. And maybe, together, you can figure out what you want moving forward. Emily looked at Sam, the flicker of hope shining amidst her uncertainty. The weight still felt immense, but somehow it felt lighter with him by her side. The connection held firm, binding them together in the face of chaos. "I don't want to run from this," she said, her eyes unwavering as they met Emily's father's gaze. "But I also want to be drawn into a world I don't understand, one that feels like a burden instead of an opportunity. I need my family to support me, not to push decisions on me." Her father sighed, his shoulders slumping again. "I realize that now. I was so preoccupied with my failures that I forgot to look at what you truly wanted. I just never thought you'd want to chase the shadows of the past over living freely. I have to do this my way. No expectations from you, Dad. Just let me find my way back to who I am." It was a bold statement, a reclaiming of her identity pulsing through her veins. Emily squared her shoulders, her voice firm yet soft in the aftermath. "And I want to do that with Sam." Mr. Parker inhaled deeply, the corners of his lips twitching. "If this is what you truly want, if this is where you think you'll find happiness, then I'll do my best to support you. Just know, it won't always be easy." Emily nodded, the relief washing over her like sunlight after rain. "That's all I'm asking, for space to breathe, to figure things out." And for the first time, Sam felt a sense of belief growing in the air, thick with tension, an invisible thread weaving together the four of them in that moment. He smiled, his heart pounding in sync with Emily's newfound strength. In that space, both Emily and her father took the first steps toward understanding, pulling back the layers of hurt and resentment. Sam knew this was merely the beginning of their journey, both hers with her father and theirs together as friends in exploration. As they left the office, the sun poured through the windows, illuminating their path forward. The shadows of uncertainty began to fade, and Sam couldn't help but feel an optimistic thrum in the pit of his stomach. Together, they would navigate this journey, facing whatever challenges came their way. "Let us take some time together, just the three of us," Emily suggested as they stepped outside, the golden light pulling them into a warmer embrace. "We can make a plan." Sam nodded in agreement, ready to stand by her side. There would be mountains to climb and valleys to descend, yet in this moment, Sam could finally see the vibrant hues of hope towering overhead. "Whatever comes next, together we'll find our way," he said, solidarity settling in every word. With laughter riding the breeze and possibility unfurling before them, they stepped forward, united against the odds, knowing love could thrive even in the most tumultuous of times. Now more than ever, it was time to celebrate this transformation of hearts and lives. Sam and Emily had proven that with trust and communication, even the deepest divisions could heal, and you need to be part of this journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about this inspiring ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this beautiful transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait, not even one more second to share. True fans know how important it is to support the channel through these actions.